So that's interesting. These are different rockers than what's in your cylinder head.
Why?
I don't know. Hey everybody, this is Ty Peak Performance Parts. This is my friend Pat and his 2022 F250. He's got a big bucket list of mods already done to the truck, and we're going to be swapping out the current engine that's in it. It's got a couple windows in the block from previous some shenanigans, yeah. We're going to put this brand new long block, but not before we install this BTR Truck Norris camshaft for the Godzilla. We'll get some good footage of the install process and everything that it takes to put this camshaft in a Godzilla 7.3 or 6.8 liter. So you want to go through some of the stuff you've got done to the truck already, and then maybe get some shots of that?
Yeah. So I purchased the truck brand new on Black Friday of 2021, and I lasted 3 days before I started modifying it. The original intent with it was just to tow my Monte Carlo around because my F-150 didn't like doing it. So I purchased this, and I immediately got to work on it, and I made a lot of good friends along the way who helped me out with the parts process on it. I guess the first thing I did was the PMF suspension in it from Trevor Hall. He set me up with the 2.5-inch remote reservoir Fox shocks, fabricated 4-link in the front, fabricated leaf blocks in the rear. I have a set of traction bars on the way for it. I have his brand new torsion front sway bar here. I'm installing that this week. The truck also has American Racing header, 2-inch primary long tube headers on it. It is tuned by Rob Shoemaker. The reason we are here is at one point it had a Whipple supercharger on it, and I put a little too much boost to it, and that's how we deleted the rods out of it.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty funny story because it lasted 15,000 miles at over 600 wheel horse on 37s, and I've been 150 miles an hour countless times in the truck, countless four-wheel drive launches, countless passes down New England Dragway and whatnot. And the engine ate itself when I was sitting in traffic with my 9-year-old in the back seat. Truck caught on fire. It was a complete disaster. And it's been quite the pain to find parts to get everything back together, and finally have everything, and we're here, and I'm very ready to have my truck back.
A lot of these medium duty and heavy duty truck gas engines have pretty weak, tiny little rods, and that is something that's probably the weakest point of this motor altogether. And I suspect that, especially on a blower motor, those low RPM makes a shitload of torque, and it just immediately spit a couple rods out of it. So it makes sense that it happened at lower RPM, like in traffic. The Whipple is no longer going on the truck. The Whipple's gone, right? Whipple's gone. It's just going to be NA cam only truck, which is still going to be lots of fun. It's going to sound awesome. And before it had a stock cam on the blower, right?
Yeah, it was completely stock, long block, nothing done internally, just headers, Whipple, tune. And Mike Malico, good friend of mine over at Whipple Superchargers, I believe I was the second or third one in the country to have one on the Godzilla platform in a pickup truck. And he told me, he said, don't push it too hard, keep an eye on it, monitor it. I pushed it way further than he told me to, so it's nothing to do with Whipple. It was entirely my fault because
just how things go.
Yeah, I pushed too hard. And so I ended up selling the Whipple. I had the Whipple actually got destroyed from the engine parts going through it. Whipple repaired everything, ended up sending me an entirely new head unit, and then I was able to sell it to a guy down in Tennessee. But not the end of the world, because I do have an Escalade as well that Mike's helping me work on something that's not on the market yet for the Whipple LS3 platform for what's in my Escalade. So I may have something coming for that.
So Whipple's been a huge part of the entire process, not only in this vehicle, but just in your whole program altogether. So
yes.
Huge shout out to Whipple. That's awesome.
I very much appreciate Whipple and everything they've done for me.
So is there anything else that we're missing on the truck? So you've got suspension, you've got headers and exhaust, we've got a cam going in it.
So the truck has a massive audio system inside of it that was done by my good friends Chris and John over at Traffic Jams and Hookset. I know a lot of local people are going to watch this. So if you need any remote start, window tint, anything audio related, go see those guys. They're the best. The only ones that will ever touch any audio related system that I do in a vehicle. The headlights are custom painted by Dan Cardova, I believe is how you say it, from DC Customs. My friend Keith painted the taillights, which you can't see currently, but those are black as well. The whole intent with the truck is to make it as black as I possibly could, because I love how it looks. Speaking of looks, I have a brand new Cervini's 4-inch cowl hood on it that I got from Jared Rosen over at Lethal Performance. Huge shout out to him. He's helped me from day one. That guy is awesome. Anything Ford related, parts related, love that guy. He's great.
We'll get this thing up in the air and we'll start pulling it apart and get the camshaft installed in it. And we'll start making our way to the truck, get everything pulled out of it. The long block is still in this truck, the original engine. So when we get that pulled out, we'll get some pretty good images and video of all the carnage of what happened to it. So
I've already been able to pull what I believe is 3 pistons through the bottom of the oil pan without taking the engine apart, just from the gaping hole that's in the bottom of the oil pan. So I am very excited. Now that everything's going back together and everything's okay, now it's funny. I'm no longer upset about what I did, but now it's going to be funny to take it apart and see exactly what went wrong and what failed, because this is a new platform.
yeah, this is very new. 2021.
2020 was the first year.
2020 first year. So as of recording, this is only a 4-year-old platform. It's very, very fresh. So let's get it apart.
Let's do it. There's oil in it.
Yeah. I don't know how much, but there should be oil.
Well, I was worried from when it was sitting outside.
So that's interesting.
What?
This is a new motor.
Correct.
So the rockers are actually different. These are different rockers than what's in your cylinder head.
Why?
I don't know, but they are different. So this is a 23 and up, 22 and up motor. Pretty neat. I don't know why they changed them, but they did change them. I've not seen a new set of rockers yet, but we'll take the valve cover off the other Godzilla we have over there on the stand. I'll show you what they look like. So these are the newer rockers, I think 22 or 23 and newer. They are simply just a stamped rocker compared to an investment cast on the earlier models, and that is solely a cost reduction in the manufacturing process. There is no performance benefit. In an aftermarket camshaft situation like we're doing, I would prefer the investment cast rockers. So we're going to pull the rockers off of the motor that's coming out of the truck and put it on here. Not seen any instances of failures, but we're not going to risk it, especially if we've got a better option for rockers. We will be reusing the factory springs for the BTR cam. It does not require an aftermarket spring, but you can always benefit from an aftermarket spring. Like a PAC 1282LX would be a good option for springs. I'll show you what the investment cast rockers look like. So these are the earlier rockers. It looks very, very similar to a 1.8, like an LS7 or a Gen 5 LT rocker arm. This whole valve train geometry is pretty similar to a Gen 5 LT. Visually looks beefier, stronger. So we're gonna use these rockers, this motor we're putting in the truck. So we got majority of the stuff disconnected on the truck. Anything left is just motor mounts and bell housing bolts. The converter's all loose. All the coolant and obviously all the oil's out of it. No fluids are in it. Nothing's connected there. Do need to take the starter off, and then we should be able to lift this thing out of here. I got to find a good way to support the transmission, but otherwise, disconnect.